A very good morning to all the students. This video for the class 7th subject science chapter number 9, that is soil. This is your lecture number 3rd. So in today's video lecture we are going to cover some NCERT solution of chapter number 9, that is soil, on the page number 105. Okay, so let's start this lecture with the first question of NCERT. Choose the correct answer in question number 1 and question number 2. So the question number 1 is, in addition to the rock particles, the soil contains air and water, water and plants, minerals, organic matter, air and water, water, air and plants. So you have to choose the correct option here. So the answer of this question is option number 3rd, that is mineral, organic matter, air and water. Okay, because the essential condition for the formation of the soil is, during the daytime the sun heats up the rock, which result in the expansion of the rock. On other hand, during the night these rocks cool due to the decrease in the temperature and result in the contraction of the rock. Okay, yeah. Moving on the second question, the water holding capacity is the highest in sandy soil, clayey soil, loamy soil, or the mixture of sand and clay soil and loamy soil. So the answer is option number 3rd, that is loamy soil. The water holding capacity is highest in the loamy soil. You already know about that the loamy soil is a mixture of both sandy and the clayey soil in the equal proportion. So it contains the intermediate properties of both the soil. So that's why the percolation rate is least and can hold the water for the longer time. Okay. Moving on the third question. Match the items in column first with those in the column second. So this is the column first here and this is the column second. So in column first, a home for the living organism particles. The upper layer of the soil is sandy soil, middle layer of the soil packed tight, clayey soil. So you have to choose the correct option or match the right option from this column first to column second. So the answer of this question is, a home for living organism is all kind of soil. Upper layer of the soil is dark in color, that is topsoil. Sandy soil particles are large. The middle layer of the soil is the lesser amount of humus, that is sea layer. Clay soil is the small particles and the packed tight. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 4. Explain how the soil is formed. So the answer of this question is, over a longer period of a time, the rocks that are near or at the surface of the earth are broken down by the various method, that physical or by the chemical, by the biological process, and the end product is the fine particles which are termed as soil. So the various factors that form the soils are, for example, the sun, water, winds and the living organism. Water help in the formation of soil in the two ways. First, that water goes into the cracks and form the rock. After water goes to down, its volume increases, which further increases the size of cracks. Okay. Second is, flowing water wears away even hard rocks over a longer period of time. So this fast flowing water carries the particle of rocks, which result in the breaking of the rock into the smaller pieces. Okay. On another hand, that is wind. So strong winds carry away rocks, which result in the breaking down of the rocks into the smaller pieces. That is, breaking down is weathering of rocks. Next is the living organism. Some living organism like lichens or organic matter get mixed in the smaller particles that help in the formation of the soil. So these are the various factors that form the soil. Moving on the question number 5, that is, how is clay soil useful for the crops? So the answer of this question is the clay soil is useful for the crops are given as follows. So the first is clay soil being a very small particles get closely packed. So it can retain or hold the water for the longer time. It traps very less air between the particles. It is rich in minerals that make it suitable for the growth of the plants, and these are the certain conditions for the growth of the crops. The crops grown in the clay soils are wheat, gram, paddy, etc. As you all know about that, for the growth of the plant or the crops of the tree, the first condition is the selection of the soil. So the soil is the medium for the growth of the plant or the crops. So crop need a proper amount of water, nutrient for its growth depending on the climatic condition. Okay. So next is moving on the sixth question. List the differences between the clay soil and the sandy soil. This is the list of the difference between the clay and the sandy soil. In clay soil, the proportion of the fine particles is higher. Sandy soil, the proportion of the large particle is higher. The particles are tightly packed, but in sandy soil, particles are loosely packed. In clay soil, they can hold good amount of water. In sandy soil, its ability to retain the water is low. Their holding of water capacity is low. Water cannot drain quickly in the clay soil. Water can drain quickly in a sandy soil. In clay soil, it is heavier in weight. Sandy soil is lighter in weight. In clay soil, less air is trapped between the particles. In sandy soil, the more air is trapped between the particles. Clay soil is rich in humus and the sandy soil is not rich in humus. Humus is the organic matter. Okay. Next is about the question number 7. Sketch the cross section of soil and label the various layer. So this is the picture of the cross section of the soil. So the first layer is the organic layer. Second is the top soil, that is the A horizon. Subsoil is the B horizon. Parent material C horizon. At last the last layer is bedrock. They are the different type of distinct layer of the soil that is termed as the soil profile. So each layer differ by its texture, color and its depth. Okay. So the uppermost layer is usually dark in color because of it is rich in humus and minerals. So it contains very fine particles that makes the soil fertile. Okay. So this layer is A horizon. The next layer that is below the top soil is subsoil. So in the subsoil, it is slightly harder and the compact than the topsoil. It contains very little organic matter. Okay. So this layer is rich in many soluble compounds such as iron, oxide, and so it's lighter in color as compared to the topsoil. Next is the C horizon. This is the another layer that is below the B horizon. It is made up of many small pieces of hard stone and rocks. So it is below and deep under the soil. So it increases the temperature and make the cracks in the hard stone. Okay. Next is the last horizon, that is the bedrock below the C horizon. This is the other layer that is very hard and contain very large rocks. Okay. So this layer is bedrock. So it is not suitable for the growing of the plants. Moving on the next question, question number 8. The question number 8 is, the Razia conducted an experiment in the field related to the rate of percolation. So she observed that it took the 40 minutes for 200 ml of water to percolate through the soil sample. So you have to calculate the rate of percolation rate. Okay. So the answer is, the given is here the amount of water, that is 200 ml. And the time taken to percolate through the soil is 40 minutes. That is also given in this question. So the rate of percolation rate, the formula is amount of water divided by the percolation time. So the amount of water here is 200 ml and the time taken to percolate through the soil is 40 minutes. So simply 200 ml divided by 40 is equal to 5 milliliter per minute. That is the percolation rate. Okay, this is the percolation rate at which water is absorbed by the soil. So as you all know that the rate at which water is absorbed by the soil is known as percolation rate. Okay, more the particle size, higher in the percolation rate, or the water is absorbed in shorter time. More the particle size, higher the percolation rate, and water absorbed in shorter time. Okay, moving on the next question, that is question number 9. Explain how the soil pollution and the soil erosion could be prevented. So the first answer of this question is, the prevention of the soil pollution is, soil pollution can be prevented by the following ways. So the first is by reducing the use of the toxic substances such as pesticide, other chemical substances using in the agriculture land. Second is by not throwing the garbage waste such as polythenes, bags, paper onto the soil. Before disposing of the waste, it must be neutralized or it must be treated well. By planting more and more trees, or the reforestation is an effective method that prevents from the soil pollution. Reuse, recycle of waste like paper, plastic materials reduces the soil pollution. So these are some points. So how we can prevent the soil pollution. Next is prevention of soil erosion. So by planting more and more trees, root of the trees bind the soil particles together and thus prevents the soil erosion. Next is by reducing the supply of flowing water. By reducing the supply of flowing water is also prevent the soil erosion. By constructing the dam, river embankment or proper drainage system should be done. By constructing the retaining wall around the area of erosion to prevent the supply of running water. By preventing overgrazing by animal result in the removal of green layer or cover on the land that erodes the soil. So overgrazing by the animal result in the removal of the green layer. So as you all know about the soil erosion means the removal of the topsoil. Okay, it may occur due to the natural cause or by the human activities. So this is your soil erosion. So yeah, this is it about this NCERT solution. Next is the homework solution of lecture number 2. So the first question is, what is soil profile? So the soil consists of distinct layers which are also called as the horizon of the soil, or the different horizon in the soil is soil profile. The soil profile is a vertical section of the soil which depicts all the layers of the soil. The layer of the soil can be seen if we dig deep through it, like while creating a well or while laying the foundation of a building. We can see the soil profile by doing this. So the first horizon or the first layer is horizon A. In horizon A, layer is called as the topsoil and it is visible to us. It contains large amounts of humus and minerals which make it darker in color. Next is the horizon B, or the middle layer. It is the next layer of the soil which doesn't contain much humus. So the minerals are found in large quantities in this layer. Next is the horizon C, or the third layer. The third layer of the soil consists of the small rocks with cracks in them. So these rocks are partially weathered or partially break down. Last layer is bedrock. The last layer of the soil is called as the bedrock and it contains large pieces of the rocks that are not weathered or exposed to any winds or water. Next question, what is soil erosion? So when the top layer of the soil gets removed, it is called as soil erosion. Soil erosion mainly occurs when the soil is left loose without vegetation or when the deforestation occurs. In such a situation, strong winds and the flowing water of rainwater takes away the topsoil and therefore decreases its quality. Next is, what are the properties of the soil? There are the different properties of the soil. So the first property of the soil is the percolation of water through the soil. Second is the soil contain moisture. Third one is the soil contain air. And the fourth one is the soil absorb the water. Here in the soil absorb the water, for example, if we pour a half of a glass of water in the soil, it gets absorbed because soil has pores between the particles. So the capacity to absorb the water different in various soil. Okay, this is the soil absorbing the water. So these are the properties of the soil. Next is the homework part of this lecture. So you have to revise and learn all the NCERT questions, okay, and write it down in your fair notebook. Yeah, this is it about this lecture. Hope you have understood this lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.